It seems like every day Elon Musk's another child with another woman. At the time of writing, he has like 14 children with 7 women. This could change any moment. It's hard to ignore the bizarre spectacle unfolding behind the scenes, or the bizarre spectacle of being accused of using your son as a human shield. From claims of eugenics and gender-selective IVF to accusations of being a neglectful father, Elon Musk's approach to fatherhood raises more questions than answers. So what's really going on here? Is it just a personal quirk, or is there a darker agenda at play? Let's dive in and unravel the drama, the scandal, and the very strange logic behind Elon Musk's growing little army of Elons. Let's get into it. First, let us try and get through all the children Elon Musk has, okay? It's time for a timeline. With his ex-wife Justine Wilson, a fantasy and sci-fi author who he married in the year 2000, they have 6 children. Their first child, named Nevada, was born in 2002, but tragically died from SIDS. Justine says she really struggled with this experience, and Elon was no help, saying, Elon made it clear that he did not want to talk about Nevada's death. I didn't understand this, just as he didn't understand why I grieved openly, which he regarded as emotionally manipulative. Despite this, the pair went on to use IVF to have 5 more children. In 2004, they welcomed twins Griffin and Vivian, who we'll come back to later. They had triplets Kai, Saxon, and Damien in 2006. On May 4th, Star Wars Day, 2020, Musk and his girlfriend at the time, Grimes, welcomed their first child, X-A12, whose name was later changed to I don't know the name. The name is partly named after a plane. I'm not going to get into the names because we don't have time. There's a lot to unpack. But the child is known to be Elon's favorite and is often called Little X, which I actually think is really cute. So that's what we're going to call him, Little X. In November 2021, Elon secretly welcomed twins with Siobhan Gillis, an executive at Neuralink. The children are named Strider and Azure. Just weeks later, in December 2021, Grimes welcomed a baby girl via surrogate, 3 months after the couple's public breakup. This daughter is named Exa Dark Sidriel. Okay. But yes, crossover with the 2 women? Obviously, and it didn't stop there. In June of 2022, Grimes and Elon welcome a 3rd child, Technomechanicus. And in February 2024, Elon and Siobhan welcomed their 3rd child, a daughter named Arcadia. 1 year later, in February 2025, Siobhan reveals that she and Musk had welcomed a 4th child, a son named Sheldon, but they didn't reveal his birth date. Oh, you think we're done? No, there's another one. In the same month, conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair revealed on X that she also had a child with Elon. She announced the child was born 5 months prior in September. It's unclear if Ashley's child was born before or after Musk and Siobhan welcomed baby number 4. Okay, you still here? That is a lot of kids with a lot of different people. But let's be real, how is he pulling this off? Surely not his good looks and charm. Many of these kids were conceived via IVF, or in many cases, surrogacy. Grimes has been open about using a surrogate for their second 2 children after she faced complications in her first pregnancy with Lil X. When it comes to Siobhan, the first twins were both born via IVF, and their 3rd via surrogacy, but they haven't shared any more details. And look, I don't judge, okay? Use a surrogate if you want, go with IVF if you want. It's just not my business. But this is more to say that there might be a bit more going on behind Elon's sort of desperate want for more children rather than just the basic, oh, I love this woman and want to have children with her, or any sort of accidental pregnancies. These are all very planned. Narcissists don't have kids. They make babies. You know what I mean? And according to one of Elon's own daughters, this is sort of what's happening in the background. Elon Musk's daughter, Vivian Wilson, has accused the tech billionaire of allegedly using sex-selective IVF for his kids and has lamented that her life was a monetary transaction. Backstory, Vivian is a trans woman. She's the daughter of his first wife, Justine Wilson. In April of 2022, she came out as transgender and managed to get her name changed to remove her father's last name and use her mother's maiden name instead. At the time, she said her reasons were gender identity and the fact that I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. If they weren't vibing then, it got a lot worse. Elon said in an interview that his son was killed by the woke mind virus, and also claimed that he was tricked into agreeing to gender-affirming care for Vivian. He added even more crazy shit, posting on X saying his child was, quote, born gay and slightly autistic, two traits that contribute to gender dysphoria. Ugh. So it comes as no surprise that Vivian does not like him. She's called him out before on Threads and on TikTok, calling him a liar multiple times and sharing that he was never really around when she was a child. But now she's dropped even more concerning allegations, like using gender-selective IVF, posting on Threads last week. My assigned sex at birth was a commodity that was bought and paid for. So when I was feminine as a child and then turned out to be transgender, I was going against the product that was sold. That expectation of masculinity that I had to rebel against all my life was a monetary transaction. A monetary transaction. A monetary transaction. She also asked, how the fuck is this legal? Gender-selective IVF basically means you can choose the gender of your child. It is incredibly controversial and it's banned in many, many countries, but not the US. It's also hella expensive. If her allegation is true, that means Elon is essentially selectively breeding his own children, and I guess prefers to have more sons than daughters. How refreshing. Apparently, his joy of handing out sperm is well known. According to the New York Times, there was an incident when he offered some sperm, as casually as you might ask someone to pass the butter, to a married couple he had met socially only a handful of times during a Silicon Valley dinner party. Yuck. We don't need to hear about your breeding fetish at the dinner table, buddy. That's weird. So what makes Elon so grossly excited about giving everyone his sperm all the time? It serves as an insight into his radicalization over the years. He's become one of the most famous faces of a growing pro-natalist movement, one with an unsettling overlap with eugenics and deeply misogynistic ideas. Elon is hella concerned over low birth rates, and he seems to be constantly paranoid about the human race dying out, which also lends itself to his weird Mars ideas. In 2023, he said during a Wall Street Journal forum, I think one of the biggest risks to civilization is the low birth rate. If people don't have more children, civilization is going to crumble. I mean, he was worried about civilizations crumbling and he'd go get a fucking job, but he's also said, population collapse due to low birth rates is a much bigger risk to civilization than global warming. I mean, it's just definitely not, but okay. And just to make sure we all remember that it is all very misogynistic deep down, he also said, instead of teaching fear of pregnancy, we should teach fear of childlessness. A woman dies every 2 minutes due to childbirth or pregnancy complications in the United States, but it's really childlessness that we should all be afraid of? Ugh. I suppose he can be blasé about pregnancy considering he can just outsource all of them. And it gets weirder, man. It turns out Siobhan and Elon aren't romantic at all, and she's just super on board with repopulating the world with more Elons. She said, Elon really wants smart people to have kids, so he encouraged me to do this. If the choice is between an anonymous sperm donor or doing it with the person you admire most in the world, for me, that was a pretty fucking easy decision. So yeah, one could easily argue that Elon is clearly trying to breed more Elons. His narcissism manages to rub off on the women of his choosing, and they believe their kids will be better and smarter than others with the strength of Elon's sperm. Yes, really. Elon also set up his own school to educate his growing brood of children and anyone else weird enough to send their kids there, which all sounds a bit culty. No matter how many children he creates, it's clear Elon is not a good father, or rather he's not really a father at all, and I know that sounds harsh, but it is just true. First, it's physically impossible to be present in the lives of all of these children while running giant companies and trying to fire everybody at the federal government. There just aren't enough hours in the day. Last month, Grimes desperately tried to get Elon's attention regarding a health matter with one of their children in a series of deleted tweets. Please respond about our child's medical crisis. I am sorry to do this publicly, but it is no longer acceptable to ignore this situation. This requires immediate attention. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so that we can move forward on solving this? This is urgent, Elon. So what did Elon do? Rush to her side to support their child? No, he shadow banned her. Being a sperm donor is very different to being a parent, and it looks like Elon is only useful for one of those things. But why does this matter, right? Can't the man just have a bizarre family who hates him in private? Aren't we all doing that? Well, Elon is in the White House now. He has power to influence social policy. And this administration has put in hard work to roll back reproductive rights and try to usher in an era where women are forced to give birth whether they like it or not. I wish we lived in a world where we could all ignore Elon. Believe me. But we don't have that luxury anymore. Not only his own narcissism, genuinely believing his sperm will lead to smarter and better kids, Elon has amplified the idea that people of European descent are biologically superior. The eugenicists of the early 20th century, who just happened to be literal Nazis, placed the biological improvement of the German people by selective breeding of Nordic or Aryan traits at the center of its radical social policy. These policies were used to justify the involuntary sterilization and mass murder of those deemed undesirable. His actions, treatment towards his children, and weird comments are signs of a much darker and scarier train of inner thought. Pair this with the current US administration's commitment to ridding the country of illegal immigrants, who at times they've claimed are eating the cats and the dogs. It paints a very scary and very white picture. Obsessed with himself, his dynasty, his legacy, and a true and unshakable belief that some groups of people are better than others, it's genuinely distressing that a guy who thinks like this is in the White House, man. But in the end, Elon Musk's rapidly expanding family isn't just a bizarre footnote in his personal life. It's a reflection of his increasingly controversial views on society, reproduction, and the future of humanity. His approach to fatherhood and the way he views his children raises ethical concerns. From his narcissistic tendencies to his alignment with eugenicist ideals, Musk's actions paint a troubling picture of a man obsessed with not only conquering the stars, but crafting a very specific type of legacy here on Earth. As his power grows, so does his potential to shape policies that could affect millions, making his personal life not just gossip, but I would say a matter of public concern. Whether or not he's aware of it, the larger implications of his decisions could reverberate far beyond his sprawling family tree. The question remains, how far will Elon Musk go in his pursuit of progress, and what kind of world will he be leaving behind for his many children? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We do 5 videos a week on everything happening around the world and everything happening around the internet, whether it's Elon Musk and his eugenics vibes kids or anything else. I'm here to tell you. Let me know in the comments what you want to know about. If there's something you're confused about, I'll figure it out. See you tomorrow.